Hey, everybody, it is Sadie. Before we get started today, can we? Yes, we can. And I'm going to do that right now. Our friends at Christiana Salon Spa. This is the week. This is the week. I've been waiting for this week. And I know that probably makes me a terrible mother, but I'm going to say it's the week that Murphy and Cooper, they go back to school. And that means this week I can go and actually do stuff like maybe get my hair done. Listen, first of all, it's getting really long. Do I cut it? I don't know what to do, but I will go in and I will see Chris and the amazing team at Christiana Salon and Spa because they do everything and they do it really well. So if I want like a completely drastic Sinead O'Connor change, this is where I'm going to go. If I chicken out and I end up just getting a trim, they're going to be really cool about it. Even though they're getting the buzz cuts ready, they're going to be great. And if you go into Christiana Salon Spa in Johnstown, you can just say our podcast or mention our podcast and you're going to get 10% off your treatment, whether that's hair or nails or a massage or whatever ails you. Go in and see them today. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for the newest episode of Sadie and Shawn Have No Friends. Shawn, how are you doing today? He just gave a thumbs up.
I was drinking some water.
Thumbs up. You have a tattoo thing going on that you just said what? You have a couple of tattoos. I don't have any.
I don't have a couple. I have a lot. We've talked about it a little bit, but like when I was 18, I needed to feel like some sort of rebellion, I think, because I was never much of a rebellious kid. And so like the minute I turned 18, first of all, let me back up. When I was 16, my stepmom told me, and thank goodness this didn't happen, but when I was 16, it was when like barbed wire tattoos were popular. I think Pam Anderson got one and it just blew up and everybody needed to have a barbed wire tattoo around their arm. When I was 16 years old, I asked my stepmom if I could get, who's really my mom, by the way, if I could get a tattoo. And she's like, what do you want? And I said, I want barbed wire around my bicep. And at that time, not that I have biceps now, but at that time I had no biceps. Like I had twigs hanging from my torso and it would have been real bad news.
But it would have been a quick, but very painful because it would have been close to the bone because you had no muscle.
True. Yeah.
So it would have been quick around but it would hurt.
Yeah. It wouldn't have taken much ink. Anyway, she told me yes. She was like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I took you to get your ears pierced and I don't think your dad would care. My dad has one tattoo, but they were never anti-tattoo. Like, it's fine. Yeah, we'll get one. Well, my dad found out and he was like, no, he shut it down. And I was really pissed for like 2 years from the time I was 16 until I turned 18. And so I needed to get one when I was 18 to basically show my parents like, hey, your boy can make his own decisions now.
Okay.
And I didn't think my dad would be very mad. I collected smiley faces like yellow smiley faces when I was a kid for some reason. I don't even know why. I was always about like good vibes and happiness. And I think that smiley faces were just a good representation of that. At one point during high school, my room was actually decorated in smiley face stuff. True story.
Yeah. The yellow smile. It was like a big
yellow
deal
smiley
in
faces.
Yeah.
And so that's all I could think of. So I decided to get a yellow smiley face tattooed on my left shoulder here. And so I went and got it done and it sucked. I hated it. I'm not one for pain, but I did it. And Shannon was dating me at the time and we had dinner plans with my parents that night at a fancy steakhouse. And I was so excited. My dad's always been my hero. Like I look up to my dad, even though sometimes I like to give him the middle finger. I looked up to my dad and I thought he has a tattoo and I thought he would be excited. Like you're 18, wait. You can do whatever you want. I was excited to show him. Huh?
What's his tattoo?
He has Mighty Mouse, who he loves very much, on his leg.
I love that. Okay, go ahead.
Or not on his inner thigh, on his outer thigh, I guess. Yeah, I actually remember when my dad got his tattoo too. This story's not good, but he took me, and I was young at the time. I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and at that time they wouldn't let minors in the tattoo shop. And my dad didn't know, and so I had to sit in the truck because I was going to watch. And I had to sit in the truck for like 17 hours. It felt like when I was 7 years old, all by myself in ghetto old Greeley, because we were downtown at it was not a nice tattoo shop. And I sat in the truck for hours upon end waiting on my dad to get this tattoo because he thought I could watch and I couldn't. Anyway, so I get the smiley face tattoo. We go to dinner and I was excited thinking my dad would be like, "At least that's cool. Like, good for you. You got a
Like, that's
tattoo.
kinda
You
your
scratched the
thing.
itch." Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was pissed. He was like, "Why would you do that? Why
Stop.
why would you?" He wasn't pissed. That's the wrong word. Because my dad and I got in one fight in our whole life, like knock down, drag out, like not physical, but yelling at each other fight.
Like
And
the
it was
word
over a
fight.
tattoo, but it was much later than this one. So I get the smiley face tattoo. He's like disappointed. The dinner was not good that night because he was not happy that I
So did
got the
you walk
tattoo.
into the dinner and you were like, "Guess what, everybody? Check
Yeah.
it out." And they
Yeah.
were
Like
not it was
really
not good.
excited. And he was not having it. It just was not his thing.
What
And
did
then
Shannon do when you got it? Was she
she
into
went
it?
with me. Yeah, she was super
Oh,
excited about it. She thought it was cool, and then, like, as time went on between 18 and 21, I I don't know why, but I really thought that I needed to get tattoos to be cool, and I didn't have any meaningful shit going on in my life, and
mhm,
I hadn't
yeah.
lived enough life to have meaningful stuff, and so I just decided to start getting random tattoos. Like, I love the water, and I love, like, island life and things like that, so I have a sleeve. My right arm is a sleeve and it's all like Hawaiian island sunshine themed.
Do
And
you wanna
so
take your sweater off to show everybody?
yeah, no, but I mean you can kind of see this. At
You
one
do have
point
an
this was
entire
really
sleeve.
at one point this was really bright and like it's a full on sunset. It's supposed to be a sunset off of this sun right here. And
Oh,
there's
that's
some
the
like
sun.
Hawaiian hibiscus flowers
If
and
you're just
there's a
listening to
tiki
this,
man.
maybe this will entice you to go to the YouTube channel so you could actually see. But I've always liked your tattoos. Sometimes you see people's tattoos and you're like, oh, oh no. But I thought that, yours looked very nice
Well,
and
thank you. I appreciate you saying that. People will always ask me though, still to this day. And before I would make up stuff. Like I used to have these two miniature pincher dogs, and I would say that the two flowers on my arm were to represent my dogs. They had no reason, but why would the flowers represent my dogs? But I felt like I had to because people will ask you, "What do your tattoos mean?" Because everybody's tattoos are meaningful, and mine mean nothing. And so I would make up stupid shit like that. I would make up like the flowers are for my dogs, and they weren't, but I would say
but
that.
it just like
Or
made people feel better about your
I
choices.
guess I guess it made me feel better that I was able to say that it meant it was something. One time, I have a star on my elbow, and then I also got 3 stars on my stomach for
That
no
has to be the
reason.
most painful area to do it. Your elbow and
No,
then on
my
your ribs?
my elbow was the least painful. Pinch your elbow, like, there's not much feeling in there. I
Yeah,
didn't
but
even hardly
around it,
feel it.
it's bony.
I don't
No?
think it's
Okay.
necessarily bones that matter, like, my wrist is pretty bony, and that didn't hurt very bad.
Really?
The stars on my stomach hurt bad. And the lady that was doing them was kinda grumpy, and she kept telling me, "You can't breathe, you're moving too much." I was like, "Bitch, I gotta breathe, and this hurts, and I'm gonna breathe harder naturally, and then you tell me not to breathe, and I'm gonna breathe even harder." And she kept saying that. She's like, "Don't breathe, don't breathe." I
So
don't
how
know
long
how
did
not
the
to breathe.
tattoo take?
Well, the tiki man that I'm like, you can't really see, took the longest. It was 7 hours straight because there's
You
some
just sat there
intricacies in
or
it.
did you break it up?
Like, you can see if you're watching, you can see, like, there's lines, and some of them are very intricate. Anyway, no, it didn't break it up. It was 7 hours I sat there, and it was hard. Your arm gets raw, and it was hard. But anyway, so, like, making up stories for my tattoos, at one point, I just said it randomly. I said these stars, I have 4 stars. I said the stars were to represent my siblings. I have I have 5 siblings, and I have 4 stars on me, and I didn't count. And my mom actually got mad at me one time, my stepmom, she was like, "One of your siblings is being left out. You need to get another star." And I was like, "You're actually encouraging me to get a tattoo?" Which I never
Also, it
did because
hurt and the girl yelled at me.
the stars don't represent my siblings. I was just, again, making up things because I needed to feel like my meaningless tattoos had meaning. At one point, the tattoo that got me and my dad into a fight is the dumbest tattoo that I have on my pubic region slash like upper thigh. I have the word hey, Hey, and an exclamation point. Hey, I don't know why. I watched a reality show, it
It
was
ha
like Real World
Wait,
or something, and a dude had a word tattooed down there, and I thought, and he was like ripped and good looking, and I thought, that's kinda cool, I should do that even though I'm not ripped and good looking, and so I went and got this tattoo, and it was embarrassing because I walk into this place I've never been before, and I tell the lady that what I want, and she's like, "I'm gonna have to ask the artist if he's all right with it because you're gonna have to have your pants down." And this big burly biker guy comes out, and he's like, "Well, what do you want?" why do you want that? And I was like, I don't know. I think
Have
it's
you been
kind of cool.
drinking?
Can I get it or not? And he's like, dude, I'll do it. But I think that I'm just going to be honest with you. I think this is really dumb. I think I do a lot of tattoos and I
Okay,
think
and
this
what
is
does
dumb.
it say? Because you kinda cut out just a bit. It
You
says,
cut
"Hey."
out, but it was hey, it's hey, Hey, and an
Oh, that's
exclamation point.
it?
Hey. Yeah.
Why
I
did that
don't
get in
it
such
was
a fight?
well, hold on. So the
Okay.
awkwardness of the tattoo, I had to pull. He's like, dude, I need you to pull down your pants because it's in my pubic region. He's like, and it's hard to work around clothing, but I really don't want to see your junk today. And he's like making me feel bad this whole time. This big burly biker guy, and he's like, I'm gonna need you to just like stand and hold your pants so that way you could keep your underwear on because I don't want to see your stuff as I'm writing hay on you. And he just like got through it and he did it and he ate it every second of it. And I felt like an idiot. And then I showed my dad, and tattoos aren't cheap. And this was a long time ago. And so I told my dad about it. And I was working at a bowling alley and I hadn't figured out what my life was going to be like. I'm 21 years old and I haven't necessarily gone to school for anything and really put my future in good hands at this point in my life.
So you
And
naturally went into radio because that's where all the people go when
well,
they're
yeah.
when they
I
don't know
at
what
this
to
point in
do.
my life, I didn't even radio wasn't even on my radar. Like I didn't have any desire to be in radio. I didn't even know it existed really. And I
Yeah.
didn't know what I was going to do with my life. At one point, at this point, I think I was still trying to be a firefighter. But I
Oh,
wasn't
that's right, and then
pursuing
you
it.
had to do the thing. What stopped you from doing that? You had
Just
to,
like
like.
it's all very medical oriented, and I thought it
Oh,
was all
that's right,
totally
you don't
outliers.
like blood. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
and so, anyways, my life, my future wasn't going down the right path looking back, and I tattoos are expensive, and so my dad and I bowled in a bowling league together, and it was a late night bowling league, and so we would ride together, and then we would ride home. I still lived at home, and on our way home, he had heard through the grapevine that I had gotten this hay tattoo in my pubic region, and he asked me about it, and I told him, and he was like, "Why?" and trying to understand, and it turned into, dude, you're not looking at your future the right way. I feel like
Yeah,
you're hanging out with the wrong crowd a lot of times, and now you're spending lots of money on dumb shit like a hay tattoo in your pubic region. I think it's really dumb, and it was time, and it resonated with me. I fought back in the moment, but at the time, looking back now, it resonated with me, and I think it did. Like that conversation and him yelling at me, which he never did. He never yelled. It was like, "You're
kinda
right.
woke you up a
You're right.
little.
Yeah.
You know
I'm
what's
I'm
weird
trying
is
really hard to be cool for no reason, and I'm doing it the wrong way."
you're the only kid that's ever been yelled at by their parent where I think it got through to them because most 99.9% of kids would be like, "Piss off." It's amazing it says, "Hey." And how much was that? Do you remember?
Dude, this guy really didn't wanna do it. He overcharged me for sure, but I wanted it bad. I think he charged me like $500. And normally, if I remember correctly, it's been a long time since I've gotten a tattoo, but if I remember correctly, it's like by the hour, and this took him 15
I
minutes to
was gonna
do.
say, that had to
Like,
have been so
it
quick.
he
Oh,
way
I would have
overcharged me.
definitely tattooed your base for that much money. Yeah,
He told me he was
and
gonna
I wouldn't have
overcharge
made
me.
you
This
feel
guy was
bad.
very honest.
I would have been like, "Let it swing, buddy. I can, work around it."
I should have
That's
probably, if I was gonna get
insane.
that tattoo, I should have went to somewhere that I maybe got to know a little bit more, not just went into a random place. It was a bad situation. It was stupid. Now I have a good story to tell, and it's stuck with me forever. People always ask me if I regret my tattoos now. I don't regret them. Like, would I go back? If I could go back in time, would I get them again? Probably not, but I don't regret them. It's not like, I mean, I need to get them taken off. I do have
Well,
one
the only
meaningful
people
tattoo
that could
now.
well, hold on. Back to the hay tattoo really quick. The only people that see it are you and Shannon, right?
It's like diagonal too, so the is it the
I mean, how
exclamation
short
point
of
or the H?
shorts are
I
you
forgot which way
wearing?
it goes. I always look on the wrong side too, I forget I have it. So the exclamation point goes up, so it's like diagonal, so the only people that see the H are me and
Can you just
Shannon,
show
but
it and just
you can see
hide
the
your
exclamation point, like, if my shirt comes up because it's, like, belly button
okay.
height.
Why did you get it there? Oh, because of the guy in the reality show. You should have asked the big. Oh, yeah, that's big. Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
weird. I don't know why
Thank
you
you.
would.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment. No, so
Wow.
anyway, that's the story. That I got one meaningful tattoo was the last tattoo I got, and I actually swore, and this will take us to where I was trying to go with this whole story for now 13 minutes, but the last tattoo I got was for my son and daughter Shay and Quentin, and there was no Boone at the time, and it's a Q and an S, and it's I'm not artistic as far as that goes, and but I one day Shannon and I were having a rough spot, and I wasn't around, and I wasn't in the kids' life as much as I would like to be. And I was really missing my kids, and I was just doodling on a piece of paper, like as I was watching TV or something. And I randomly, it's so weird, but I randomly was just drawing, and I drew this thing that looked like a Q and an S combined. And I was like, holy cow, that's really cool. And I was really missing my kids. And so I got to know this guy who does tattoos, and we just became friends, not because he was a tattoo artist, but we became friends. And I called him up and I was like, hey, I'd really like to get this done, and it'll be my last tattoo. I don't want to get one again.
Now
And
you
so
have to.
I got it on my left forearm. That was now 10 years ago, maybe closer to 12 years ago, and I've held through. I never got a tattoo again. I just it was the end for me. I didn't want another meaningless tattoo, and so I was done. Bring now fast forward to present day. Same guy who gave me that meaningful tattoo is a fan of my band Double Wide, and he
Mhm.
jokingly commented recently on a post about on social media about Double Wide that he was coming to a show and Double Wide tattoos for everybody. And I laughed a little bit. Then he hit me up in a DM, and he was like, "No, I mean it. Like, you should really, like, you've built this band into something kind of cool. You should get a Double Wide tattoo. I'll bring the gun to one of your shows, and
We'll
we'll
do it
do
in
a
the
Double
back
Wide tattoo."
room.
And I was like, you know what? That's kind of cool. Double Wide has been kind of it's become a huge part of my life in
Yeah.
such an unexpected way, because it was never supposed to be anything. And who knows how long it'll last. I realize that it's kind of just a phase of my life, and I do want to kind of remember it. So yeah, let's do it. Like, I'm going to get it in an area. I don't know where, but I'm going to get it in an area where it's
Now
covered. I
wait
don't
a
want it out
second.
all the time.
I'm sorry. Are you gonna get Boone done? Like, are you just gonna have the 2 kids? You have
I get asked that a lot too. I probably should. Now that I'm reopening the Pandora's box of tattoos.
you
It,
can't get a different tattoo of your band that you cover 1990s country songs and not your 3rd child.
yeah, I should probably get something for Boone. I don't know what it is. I don't just want to get, like, because I have a Q and an S for Shay and Quentin, I don't want
Just
to
have
just
a
get like
little
a
bee
random
put on
B.
there.
You
Let
can't
me
just
see
add
it.
a
Let
B
me
to
see
it.
it. I'm sorry if you're not watching this episode, you're gonna miss sort of. That's huge. I didn't know that's what that was.
Yeah, and it's you have to look at it
Oh,
upside
yeah,
down.
you
So it's
can't
meant
just
to,
add a
like,
bee.
if my arms are straight and you're looking at me from behind, that's the only time that it looks like a Q and an S. Otherwise, it just looks like a random scribble. Um anyway, so this guy, he was gonna do these double wide tattoos, and now he hit me. That was supposed to be for a show that's happening this weekend, and he hit me up and he's like, dude, unfortunately I can't come to the show, but um I want you to come to the shop, and we're still going to do them. And so he's scheduled me in, and like, I'm going. I'm so nervous because I hate pain more now than I did then. They hurt. I don't know where to get it. And it's just like, I don't even know if I really, 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 really want it.
You have to do something for Boone before you get your band
Well, that's not
tattoo.
happening. So
That's
that's out
not
of the
happening at
question.
all? Why don't you just have a separate area? Because I agree, now seeing the original tattoo that you can't add anything onto that, so, you know,
I'm gonna
I
get
don't
something for
know. Why
Boone.
don't you just
I
do
have to, but it's not gonna happen before the double wide tattoo. This guy, the whole reason that this is happening is because of the double wide thing. So again, if
why
I
don't you
open
just have the
Pandora's
guy
box of
put
tattoos, I'm gonna get double wide, and then I'll start just getting pretty soon I'm gonna have my whole face tattooed.
do you understand? Because I don't have any tattoos, and my parents don't have any tattoos, and, but my sister Heidi, who's just like a complete badass, she has sleeves done. And she did come home one time and she was like, look at my sleeve. And she was slowly having it worked on. And it said something, what does it say? It's something of, I don't know. There's like a deep quote, but they used the wrong grammar. They did there and they did it wrong. And so she's like,
No.
check it out. And I'm like, no, no, there should be an apostrophe and an E. And she's like, what? And I'm like, dude, the dude used the wrong word, like spelling. So she had to go back and they had to squeeze it in. I would have been like, I want some money back, bastards.
Well, I don't think that's on
But
the
you
tattoo
can't really,
guy.
I mean, they
It's
did a good job.
they don't just randomly
Oh
just
no, I
do it
feel
on
like
you.
it's
You
on
have
the
to
tattoo
approve it.
guy.
No, it's on the person
I
for
know.
sure.
I don't think
You
I
approve.
know, but okay. I think neither one of them had that epiphany of like, is that the right there or they
It's so
are?
surprising. You see those
And
tattoos on the internet all the time, and I'm always, like, surprised, like, if you're putting this on your body permanently, you would think you would have it quadruple and 15 times checked over by everyone you know to make sure you're spelling it right. If I'm putting any word on my body, I'm gonna make sure that
yeah,
it's spelled right and that it's grammarly correct, you know?
I don't know what happened, but she went back and the guy fixed it and it looks okay. But I was still like, how many people have looked at this and not told you that that is the wrong your? And, but I don't know. She went back and she's got so many tattoos that you can't even tell there's an issue. But I'm more of a piercing person because I think that it's a commitment thing. I'm scared to get something. And I did, okay, this is so lame. Well, I think it's cool, and so I don't even care. We went to Las Vegas, and I wanted to get on my forearm right here. You're gonna make fun of me because everybody makes fun of me. But in typewriter font, I wanted to have "sexy baby" put on, and everyone was like, "That is so stupid."
Ah,
And I'm like, "No,
you're
it's
lying.
super chill." Whatever. So I went the last time we were in Vegas, and I got like where they do like a henna kind where
Yeah.
it just stays for like 6 weeks. I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was the cutest thing. It was small and it was just right here. And it was so cute. But everybody would made so much fun of me that I was like, screw you all. One
Sexy
day, if
baby,
every
hold on, what's that mean and why?
I don't even know. Well, it's in a song. And then also, I think that this has nothing to do with it, but I think there was an actress, Brooke Shields. She has a book. It's called Sexy Baby, but that's not why I did it. I'm not like a huge Brooke Shields fan or whatever. I just saw it and I think I saw it on like Pinterest. And I was like, holy shit. Now, the model obviously on Pinterest was like 20. So she was a sexy baby. When you're in your 40s, can you still be a sexy baby or should it just be like sexy saggy or something horrible like that? I don't know, but it made me sad that nobody dug my idea. And I think I would have been cool wearing it around. I wouldn't but everybody was like, that's so dumb. And I'm like, okay.
I don't be coming from a guy who has a bunch of meaningless tattoos. I always feel like I don't have ever the right to knock anybody's tattoo, so I'm not gonna knock
You
it.
think that's dumb, right?
I
Though,
think it's
do
dumb, but
you?
I'm not gonna say it out loud. Shit, I just did.
You just did.
I feel
Anyway,
like
so
if you're gonna do that, that's one of those ones where, like, if I'm getting a real stupid tattoo, I'm putting it somewhere where it can be covered, and your forearm is not a
see, then
place that
what
can
is the
always be covered.
point? No, but then that just defeats the whole point. I don't understand when people get tattoos and they're like, "But you can't ever see it." And I'm like, "Then why the hell did you get it?
Well, yeah,
Is it
like
just for you to look at?"
in the naked areas, that does make sense, but there's areas of your body that you can cover up if you need to, such as your, like, shoulder or, like, your back, maybe your upper thigh. Those areas, people can
I
see that,
can't.
like, you can show that off, but you can cover it up if need be, and "sexy baby" in typewriter font is something that at times needs to be covered up.
You know what? I think I have a picture somewhere of my sexy baby fake tattoo that I wanted to get done. And I'm going to post this picture. I'm going to edit it in. So if you're watching the episode, seriously, and I'm going to put a poll. Is this really that dumb? Because I think once you see it, maybe you'll be like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And maybe not. I'm looking at your face and you're just like,
It's
no.
not really that hard to imagine. It's not like somebody's portrait. It's with the word "sexy baby" in typewriter font on your forearm. I can see it in my head. I don't think
Okay.
I don't think that it looks bad because that's not the problem. I think
Do
that
you
it's
think
the
it's
words.
pretentious? Like, "Oh my god, you're in your
No,
40s. You're not a
I think
sexy baby. You're neither of those
I don't
things."
think it's even I don't think it has to do with that. I think you could be the sexiest baby in the history of the world at 40 years old and have that on your arm, and it feels funny to me. It feels like you're and you should have, don't get me wrong, I'm all about people who love
Like, oh,
themselves,
is
and
it
you should
overly
have.
confident?
Yeah, mhm, egotistical
Really?
is what I was trying to
Okay.
say. You're
Oh,
exactly right.
that's a lot harsher ego too. Okay, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but
Even if it's not, and I don't knowing you, I don't think that that's what it is, but I think that it could be perceived that way by people who don't know you as well as I
then
do.
part
So
of me is like, screw them then. If they think that, then they don't know me. But then it's like, do I want to start a discussion constantly about what does that mean? And I'm like, I don't know. I saw it on Pinterest,
it's
like,
so funny though. It used to be, I think tattoos have gotten so popular now that it's just like people overlook them. Because I will tell you, when I first had tattoos early on, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, I would have these conversations all the time. It felt like people would ask me what they mean and what they're for and where'd you get them. And it was always a conversation about my tattoos. And over the last 5 to 10 years, it's just like, oh, you got
nobody
tattoos.
asked.
I don't even know. Sometimes I'll hear from people on social media that I know really well. It happened recently where I'll have a picture where the tattoos are a little more prevalent, they're more upfront. And
Yeah.
somebody who I know well will comment and they'll be like, dude, you have tattoos? Like,
Yeah.
bro, I've known you my whole life and I've had these tattoos for 15, 20 years and you're just now noticing?
Yeah, that is weird. That is weird. They're not paying much attention to you. I like piercings because I feel like you can take them out. And so I've had my tongue and my belly button and my nose, and now I'm really into my ears. I don't have those things anymore because I just slowly kind of grew out of them. Like I would never it wouldn't be for me right now to have a tongue ring. It was cool when I
Yeah.
was in high school. I thought it was cool, and now I'm like, "Oh, I'm maturing, sexy baby." Not really, but,
I feel like
like,
tongue rings have gone out of style too. You don't ever see anybody with
you
tongue rings
really don't.
anymore.
But now I look at, maybe it's my age, I look at people with tongue rings, and when they talk, that's all they stare at is, like, that ball, and I'm like, "Ooh, I wonder how many people were looking like that at me." Probably everybody, especially when it was early 2000, and that not people, that was like a big deal, I
Mhm.
think. I don't know. Anyway, I like that because you can get rid of them if you decide you wanna change your mind, to where I think my biggest fear of the tattoo thing is that when I was in high school, I wanted to go and I wanted to get a yin yang sign done. I'll never forget this. I don't know anything I mean, it's like opposites. What does that mean? What does that even mean? What does that mean in my life? It doesn't mean anything. And so I never did it, and now I look back and I think, could you imagine if I had a yin yang? People would be like, "What's the," and I'd be like, "I don't know. I was 17 and thought it was cool." And
Well,
so I don't know.
I have that in many, many situations.
Where
You know,
you
all the
look
girls I'm surprised that you made it through this part of the tattoo fad, because pretty much every girl from your era and maybe just a tad bit younger than you, like my wife's age, who are 5 or 6 years younger than you, have what they
you don't
called
have to
stamp
point
tramps.
out the specific days or years. Go ahead.
Yeah, 5 years, 14 days, and 6 yeah, anyway,
They
they everyone from your era had a stamp tramp, women, it seemed like, and a lot of them were like butterflies or tribals, but it was like
barbed
a
wire
yes,
stuff.
it was if you lived through the late '90s and early 2000s and you were a woman and you did not have a tattoo on the the top of your butt crack, you were not cool.
But that was such a different era because women did that and girls did that because that's when low cut jeans were so cool. Now everything is up to your boobs, but
Mhm.
at one time you wore low cut jeans. And so if you would, kneel down, it'd be like, peekaboo, I'm a whore. I'm just kidding. Not everyone with the tramp stamp is a super whore. But I'm just saying that's why I think it was popular, is because, and I know a ton of girls who got it done when they were young.
Yeah.
And I think it's great. But you can also have it erased now. There are places that you can do it. Ryan's having his one tattoo taken off
Why?
because it's a dick. Just kidding.
I mean, it's a
No,
good
it's
story
a
t
no, it's not a
what is
wiener.
it?
It's a sun on his back, like on his shoulder blades
Why
in
doesn't he like it?
between. I don't know, because he never sees it, and so I'm like, "Why do you?" But I've gone with him to get this lasering done.
I've heard
Oh,
it hurts
man.
bad.
He's a tough guy, and they give you, like, a ball to squeeze, and I mean, he was squeezing that ball, and it was like but I will say, I'm sure tattoo lasers are different than hair lasers, but I've had my puebes lasered off. That hurts, and it's an incredibly uncomfortable position to
Yeah.
be in. Like, every 6 weeks, you have to go and do that. I mean, you don't have to, but, and I mean, you don't hear me bitching. I just fit it in between grocery shopping and running to the
I
mall. I get
mean,
my puebes lasered. It
women are
takes like
tough.
10 minutes.
Women are tough animals, but I do think that that's a different kind of laser. And I've heard that the
Yeah.
tattoo laser hurts a little bit more. And you have to go back many times, right? Like it's not you go get
Yeah.
lasered one time and the tattoo's gone. You have to go like 10 times. How many times do you have to go?
He has to go, I think, like 8 times, and he's gone a couple of times, and I keep but after the first time, it really faded. I was like, "Holy cow," and then the second time, you really couldn't see it that much, so I'm like, 8? 8 seems a lot, but I don't know. It's
Where
his
does it
deal.
go? That's what I want to know. Like the ink doesn't just
I think
dissipate
you burn
into
it off.
yeah, but it doesn't dissipate into thin air. It has to go somewhere. Like I'm afraid it like gets
Goes
lasered into your bloodstream.
well, if that were the case, many of people would die. They would have, like, said, this is a bad idea. Don't do this." I think you're safe. He hasn't died. He's done it a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean,
Shawn, thank you so much for telling us your tattoo tales. I did not know you had a tattoo by your pubes, but I did know, about the one on your arms, the one that you commonly see. So that's interesting. You know what else is interesting? Clicking that subscribe button, bitch. Also, automatic download. I love automatic download because in the morning you wake up and it's like, boom, it's already up, the episode, the newest one, and you just click it and you can listen to it. So make sure you set that so then you don't have to go back and it's a pain in the butt. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you tomorrow.
all right,
Whenever.
bye.
Bye. Hello, and thank you so much for listening to this newest episode of Sadie and Shawn Have No Friends. Please be sure to go onto our social media pages. Just search for Sadie and Shawn Have No Friends across everything, because that's where you will find the pet of the week. And it's time for a brand new one for this week, and his name is Motley. And he's so cute, so adorable, just like a tiny little scruffy puppy, and maybe you're going to fall in love. If you're interested, again, go to our social media, send us a message. We'll get you to the right people. We're working with Mile High Canine Rescue, and it's sponsored by our friend Casey from Casey's Pest Control Services. Go to Casey'sPestControlServices.com, and again, go and check out this week's Pet of the Week.